Welcome to Created Healthy. I'm Dawn Combs. It's a common idea that God gave us everything we need in nature, but do we believe it enough to walk that out in truth? Often the very same people who say this go looking for answers on how to use food and medicine from man-made sources. Everything man creates comes with a user's manual. Why would God be any different? I challenge you to join me in seeking revelation about our body, mind, soul, and spirit health by digging into His written word and in practicing pure science in the visible world of His creation.
If you've ever watched a game show, you know the moment where the contestant has two curtains in front of them, and one of them has been lifted, and there's $500 in front of them, and they have the choice. They can either take the $500 or they can risk looking behind the next curtain where there could be $1 million. But they have to take a risk, and they have to give up the $500 to take the risk. They could win it all or they could lose it all. And this is a risk in game show world, but we're supposed to understand that when God makes a promise and we're waiting for it to come to fruition, that our part is in the faith of trusting that there's not going to be nothing behind door number 2 or curtain number 2. This is a dilemma that the Israelites are faced with here in Numbers 31 through 33. We have seen them defeat their first people group, and they are on the side of the Jordan. They haven't crossed over the Jordan into God's promised land yet. And they have wiped out a people group that God said He was going to deliver into their hands. And all of Gilead has been laid bare and open. And the Reubenites and the Gadites go to Moses because they get together and they think, this is a really nice bit of land. It's got good grazing. There are a lot of good features here. We're right close to the water. And what we should do is go and ask Moses if we can just stay here. I know we've got this whole promise that God's been leading us around in the wilderness for a really long time. And now we're here, and God tells us that we're going to cross over the Jordan and we're going to battle, and these people are going to fall under our feet, and we're going to get this amazing promised land. But there's this land right here that we already have that's right in front of us. We could take this and essentially take away the risk of worrying about whether or not they're going to like what is on the other side. So they are settling. They choose to settle. And in essence, Moses gives the whole Reubenite tribe, the Gadites, and half of the Manasseh tribe this land on the wrong side of the river. And whether they believe that they have a better plan, whether they have decided that it just shouldn't go to waste, the upshot is they have decided for themselves a different plan than what God promised them was the best plan for them. And so this is the dangerous place. We'll see later whether that's a mistake. Are there ramifications when we choose to play it safe and we don't go for the best of what God has designed? Are there reasons God didn't plan? He brought them all this way. He didn't say, I'm going to let you take whatever land you think looks best. He says, I'm going to give you the land on the other side of the Jordan. I specifically am going to lay out all the boundaries, and all 12 tribes are going to live there together. That was the design. That was the plan. And when we go against the design, we often go against it because of our own fear or our own greed. I don't know what the ultimate motivation here was for these tribes, but the upshot is the same. They stay on their side of the river, and of course Moses then says, sure, fabulous, we can do that, but all of the rest of the Israelites are going to go on the other side of the Jordan, and and God has set this up for all of us to be together to fight. So it's not really fair that you're going to stay here and you're not going to help us fight for the land that we've been waiting for. Kind of need your numbers. You're going to be sitting here all cushy in this beautiful land while we go and do all the work. And so this tribe says, great, we'll send all of our fighting men with you. And until every last tribe has their land apportioned and safe and nailed down, only then will our fighting men return to enjoy the land that they have. So I guess maybe sort of some of their punishment is they're going to have to go and fight for the land that they would have had. They're going to get to see how much better they would have had. And maybe they go back home and think in the end, wow, what we decided to take for ourselves isn't as good as what God had. Or maybe they don't see it until the reason why God wanted them all on the other side of the Jordan comes along. The other thing that this story highlights is a few cracks in Moses's humanity here, his sin nature, because it does not say that Moses confers with God about whether or not he should allow this. He doesn't say he goes and asks God whether this is a good idea, whether he should go ahead and let these tribes stay, and then the wisdom in his idea that they would come with and fight anyway. So he's taking it on himself here, and I think we're starting to see Moses unraveling a little bit, and probably we'll see more as we read through the rest of Numbers. I pray that God is blessing you today as in all days, and reminding you that he has what's best if we just stick it out, if we stay on the road, if we cross the river when we are just shy of reaching the goal that we see it in front of us where God has been taking us all along. If we stop just before so that we can have the sure thing and we don't have to risk any more for the unknown, we truly miss out. I pray that God is giving you the fortitude to cross the river and pick up what is rightfully yours in the promised land. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share with a friend. And I'm always interested in hearing what God is laying on your heart. So drop me a rating or review, or join the conversation on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube at Dawn Combs Really.